Welcome to the Collector Cave, and today we have a review of Bring Art's Final Fantasy VII Sephiroth. And it's always a good day when a Sephiroth figure arrives and I get to review it, play around with it. He showed up actually last week. I've been kind of busy, haven't been able to get to him yet. But this is the fifth Bring Arts figure from the FF7 line that's come out this year. There's more scheduled beginning of next year, maybe a couple in December. But man, I'm excited. I've got the first four. This is the fifth one. They're not without their faults. There is some problems with a few of them, which is disappointing because these figures aren't cheap. They seem to be going up in price more and more. They're for North Americans here. It's overseas figures, so it costs more typically for shipping, things like that. But anyway, let's get into this. The packaging on these FF7 figures by Bring Arts, I love them. I love the white and then the gray line. It's just a nice, slick look. And so here you have a picture of the figure Sephiroth, which is mostly based off of the some of the concept art from FF7. And if you've seen this picture, this is like spot on, nearly spot on of how he looks there, his face, his eyes. So they did a great job bringing that photo or that drawing to life in figure form. And as we can see here, we're coming closer. This is figure number 5. So far it's been Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, and Barrett. And this is the fifth figure being Sephiroth. And it's for ages 15 and up. And of course it has a choking hazard because they're small parts. So not for children under 3 years of age. And here's the side of the box. Again, very simplistic, but it looks really nice. Bring Arts logo there. On the back here, we get a few promo shots or blogger shots of how the figure can look. You know, the lefty that Sephiroth is kind of cool there with Masamune, the blade he has. And yeah, so I've watched a couple reviews. It's been a while. I think there is an issue with this figure, but it's been a while since I watched. So we'll see. But let's get this guy unboxed and take a look at him in closer detail. It's also of note that this box is about a third of the way thicker than most of these FF7 boxes, and it's because of Sephiroth's hair, the way they've got him molded. But this box is really deep compared to the other FF7 figures that have been released up to this point, including Barrett. But we get some directions, very simple stuff. You know, how he has 4 right hands, 4 left hands, and it shows you the hands that hold the sword, Masamune, and then it shows you the generic stand that all of these Bring Arts figures come with, and some legalese in different languages in the back. But here's the figure. I haven't taken him completely out of packaging yet. I wanted to show you guys here. There's his hands, and I love how Bring Arts, Play Arts Kai give you a little stand for the hands, which is kind of a cool thing. So if you don't want to keep the packaging, you can keep the hands together on this little stand. But there's the figure. It looks really good. There's Masamune. I mean, it's like supposed to be 7 feet long. It's a massive sword. It looks great. You can see the sculpt in his hair. If I pick this up sideways, you can see how deep that goes. And then down here is the base with a couple size clamps and then the flight arm. So let's go ahead and get this guy unpackaged and look at him in closer detail. All right, here is Sephiroth and everything he comes with out of packaging. As we see here, the generic stand that all these Bring Arts figures come with. They all come with 2 clamps. One's bigger, one's smaller. I think in the case of Sephiroth, both these will probably work. I haven't tried either yet, but they should both work. And then the flight arm as well. And then here is Masamune, which looks really nice. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see that hilt. Looks really good, painted well. This one's a bit more darker. The blade is black on the top and then the silver on the bottom, the cutting edge. Looks really good. And there is all his hands. He comes with 8 total hands, 2 fists that are on the body, 4, I believe, sword holding hands, 2 to hold the sword upright and 2 to kind of hold the sword in an angle. And then he has these open splayed hands. And then here's the figure. Now, you may have seen other reviews, and the camera picks up a little bit, but there is some purple in this figure, which I guess it's accurate. I always thought Sephiroth was just the black coat, right? The black outfit. But maybe from that picture, the drawing that they based this off of, there might have been a hint of purple in that drawing. I'm not positive. Diehard FF fans probably know, but you can't see it too well in the camera, but there definitely is a hue or hint of purple running through this figure, which to me is odd. It's not all black. It's really hard to explain. You can see it a bit in the camera, but it's just, yeah, you can see it in his thighs there. See the purple? I don't know if it's supposed to be shading, like cell shading type deal or something they tried doing. Um, I would prefer it to be in black, honestly, different shades of black. But it's what we got, so it's okay. There's been a lot of Sephiroth figures released over the years, and there's always variants, differences here and there. But there's the figure. Let me bring this camera up a little bit, and I'll show this figure off in detail closer up. And as you can see, if you look at that original drawing, this is like spot on. They did a great job bringing that drawing to life in this figure. His neck does look really thick, and it's the way they designed these bring arts, and it's because of the drawings again. The original drawings, in this fact, Sephiroth's neck was a little thick. I wish they would have translated that a little thinner, but to no fault of their own, they've copied, the original drawings of these figures, and that's what it is. Now, if I zoom way in, you can see his soldier eyes. The bluish green looks really good. And there's his mouth, very subtle look. This is very true to the game, the original FF7 game, not the remake or rebirth. I mean, his hair is spot on the way they got it done. They did a good job of doing this. And then I love how his hair flows. I would have liked there to have been a ball joint like they've been doing with a lot of the Sephiroth figures and some of the Aerith figures. They put a ball joint. You can move the hair around. But this hair is stuck in the static form. So this is what it is. It looks good. It's not translucent like a lot of the hair they've been doing lately. It's kind of translucent on Cloud, on the PlayArts Kai Sephiroth. This is just a gray, a grayish white, which to me is how it should look. Looks really good. And then there is Sephiroth's shoulder pauldrons, which look really good. They've got some play in them for articulation, which we'll get into here in a second. And then if I zoom in, you can see the badge there. You really can't see the one-winged angel medallion anywhere on here that he usually has, at least in the newer games. The articulation with this coat is goofy. As you can see, it's not one piece, but it's supposed to give you better range for the legs, I think. And by the way, this thigh already fell off. If you have the Bring Arts Cloud, you know what I'm talking about. It's a big QC issue. So I'm hoping Sephiroth doesn't have a major problem like Cloud did. But at the price point of these figures, Square Enix and Bring Arts and PlayArts Kai need to up their game with some of this quality. Some of the QC stuff has really turned me off to the point that I'm not going to buy some of these figures going forward. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But I am happy to have them. I'm happy to have them. I just wish some of these figures turned out better for the price. But let's go ahead and go over articulation here. So his head is on like a ball joint, and as you can see, it does go down somewhat. Even with the heavy hair, it kind of holds it, and then he can look up a little bit, and he can, of course, turn his head side to side, all that kind of stuff. And then the arms, do they go up 90? Not quite 90 because the shoulder pads, but close to it. Close to it. There is a bicep swivel in the arm. And then you can see the joint here. It's not the prettiest joint. It looks like a disc. The thing is massive right there. I feel like they could have done a better job. But he does have pretty good range. It is over 90, which is nice. And then he's got the ball hinge wrists, which are really loose. These wrists move very easy, just so you know. And you can see the balls quite a bit. So I'm not a huge fan of that look either. I wish it was covered better or the fists went down more. But I guess in order to have the range of mobility, it's got to be up some. Otherwise, we'd be hitting this gauntlet. So I can see why they did that. And then the waist, there is a ball joint here. As you can see, he doesn't really lean forward too much. His head does pop off pretty easy. He leans forward a little bit, and then he goes back just a little bit. And then this is where things get funky because these are all on ball joints as well, this cape or the bottom of the coat. And as you can see back here, if I zoom out a little bit, sorry, you can see how it's in three pieces. It's It's a different type of thing, man. It's weird. But that does allow you to get the leg up. Let's see if the leg falls off. Hasn't yet. There is a thigh cut. See how easy that leg pops off? It's just a ball joint. It goes in real easy, but like Cloud, it's coming off super easy. When I try to turn that thigh, it just pops right off. So I think it's going to be an issue. So just FYI. And then double jointed knees, which look pretty good. These joints are covered pretty good. I have no problem with that. And then a ball hinge ankle, there's no ratchets, and toe articulation. So I'm sure over time, they're already a little loose. I expect those to get a lot more loose. But you've got a stand you can use. So if the figure does get loose on you, loosey-goosey, you can, now look at the stuff just falling apart now. So you can see how this, I see what they tried to do, but I'm not a huge fan of how they tried to pull it off. Oh, this is gonna be a nightmare getting this back on. It needs to go under. This is crazy how they did this. Not a fan. I see those falling off over time because they're not even a ball joint. They're just a straight on fit. Yeah, it's cut up pretty bad because of trying to give more articulation, which I like the thought of it, but again, the execution's not the best. I mean, aesthetically, just to see the figure, I think he looks good overall. Besides the thick neck, the muscle neck, and these kind of horrendous elbow joints, I think overall, even with the purple, I do like the way the figure looks. It's got the classic FF7 vibe, which is what you want as a fan. So they've got that going for them. Let's try and get this guy into some poses. Let's see what we can do with this guy. All right, so here's a pretty cool pose, kind of what I used off the box a little bit, but I added this hand here. He's got Masamune kind of behind his back, holding it backwards, which looks really cool. I had a hard time getting him to stand. It took me a minute to get him to stand. What's odd about this head sculpt is he's kind of smiling, which I'm okay with Sephiroth giving that evil smile, but this smile doesn't look evil. It looks kind of happy to me. So I wish they would have had another faceplate for Sephiroth. But I think, again, this is based off of that artwork for the original games. That's why it looks like that. But still, I think it looks pretty cool. He's got his hand out, craving that power, the black materia. Speaking of black materia, man, I wish one of these releases from Square Enix would give Sephiroth a hand holding black materia. Give him Meteor, man. Do something, not just hands. I really wish Player Arts Kai would step up their game with accessories and not just hands and one sword. These characters have multiple weapons they use throughout the game. They collect. They've got materia. I just really wish they would do more with the license. But it is what it is, right? And I still like the figure. I still like that I have it. I just wish it was more. And that's how I feel about almost all these Bring Arts and Play Arts Kai. I wish there was more. For the price point, I wish there was more. I wish there was better QC. And it's not like I'm kind of harping on it, but man, I mean, in this day and age, when stuff costs so much money and people can't afford, to pay for groceries, $130 action figure that's limited with a lot of stuff and doesn't have the best QC, it's not going to go over well with a lot of people. Anyway, getting back to this, getting off my little rant here, mini rant. It does look cool. Aesthetically, this looks pretty cool. Let's try one more with him holding the blade up. Okay, and I've done the best job I can to kind of show off this pose of when he holds the sword like this. In the games he does this, especially in the new games. It's kind of hard to get this pose exactly how they have it on the box. I think they've pulled an arm out of a socket to get the right arm to go up more, but without doing that here, this is what it's going to look like. Still a pretty cool pose. Doesn't look too bad. Yeah, not at all. And I got him to balance without using the stand, which is always a nice thing. For all these figures, I would advise using a stand if you're going to display them in a cabinet, because walking around and stuff, they can fall over very easy. Joints get loose over time, etc. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and do some comparisons now. Okay, and here is Sephiroth next to the Bring Arts Cloud. And Sephiroth comes in just over 6 inches to the tip of his hair here. It's like 6 1/4. So he's definitely, taller than Cloud as he should be. I forget how tall Sephiroth is in the game, but it maybe like 7 feet tall or something like that. He's pretty tall, 6'7", something like that. And of course, Cloud is, Cloud's not the biggest guy out there. So that's what he looks like next to Cloud. These two do look good side by side. Okay, and now we've added Tifa to the mix. And again, I think these scale appropriately based on the game, on the sizes, and Tifa is definitely the smallest. They look really good together. All right, and here's Aerith added to the mix. She's a bit taller than Tifa, which I don't know if that's accurate or not. I think they're about the same size, same height in the game, but whatever. They look good together. We got one more to add. All right, and there's Barrett Wallace, and Barrett's taller than Sephiroth. I don't know if that's accurate, at least not in the remake. Maybe in the original game, Barrett was taller than Sephiroth. Barrett comes in at like 6.5 inches, a little over 6.5 inches. So he's about a 1/4 inch to closer to a 1/2 inch taller than Sephiroth here. But man, this is the Bring Arts family of FF7 figures to date. We got more on the way. We got the rest of the party coming, I think, in December and all the way through May of next year. They've just announced, of course, Zach Fair and the Hardy Daytona, which I have both on pre-order. There's sometime next year. And they just recently announced, just a few days ago, all the Turks, Rufus, all the Turks, including Sung. And I haven't pre-ordered any of them because these figures, I think Sephiroth's 130. He's still available. I got him from Square Enix North. He's still available there, and he's also available and in stock at BBTS, Big Bad Toy Store, for 130 as well. So if you want to get him, he's available. I think all these are available right now, I think. The date of this recording is like, I think, October 13th, 2024. But I haven't ordered the Turks. I don't know that I will because these are $130 each. You get 5 figures, you're talking $600-700. And I've got 4 more on pre-order already, 5 more already in pre-order, plus the Hardy Daytona. It's a lot. And for what the price of these are here in North America, it makes me sad to say I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth the price with what they're giving you. Now, I may start ordering these from Ami or what's the other place I order from? Plaza Japan. If Plaza Japan even carries these, I'm not sure. But I ordered from Plaza Japan for Mafex, and for most of my overseas stuff, I'm going to start ordering from like those guys because it is cheaper. Even with shipping, it's cheaper to order from Plaza Japan. And I've had good success with them. I feel confident ordering from them. I want to give BBTS my allegiance, and I mostly do. And I know the $4 shipping is nice, but man, these figures are so much cheaper buying from a Asian retailer because they're produced there. So if I do buy the Turks, if I do buy Rufus and those 4 or 5, it'll be through that. And I might actually wait for discounts because I thought these were going to sell out and be hard to find, but I think because of the price and some of the QC issues, like Aerith's head falls off all the time, Cloud's leg won't stay on to save his life, Sephiroth's leg, as you can see, falls off pretty easy. There's some QC issues with these. And it pains me to say that because I love these figures. I love that I have all of these, and I'm glad I have them. But I'm not 100% satisfied. And I think for the price, I need to be close to that. So are these figures, is Sephiroth worth it? If you're a big FF7 fan like me, I'm going to say yes. But with the caveat that just understand what you're getting for the price probably won't be fully worth it. So that's going to stick with you like it does with me. I'm battling in my mind. I love the look of these. I love that I have them. They're just not perfect or close to perfect. So there's that. So, balance that. See these, watch other reviews on YouTube. You'll see kind of the same stuff that I've shown you. Some cool looks. They look great together, but not a lot of accessories and a lot of QC issues. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But I do, man, enjoy this shot. I love seeing all these guys together. I'm gonna display them like this together. And because they're 6-inch figures or 1/12 scale, you can put them, cram them all together in one detolf. I could probably get the rest of the party in one detolf. You know, adding in Vincent and whoever else. I forget who else is coming. Vincent. Oh man, I can't remember now some of these guys that are coming still. Sid, right? Sid, and then oh my goodness, what's his name? Kate Sith. So there's at least three more coming. And I know Kate Sith is going to be huge, maybe as big as Barrett or taller, but you could still fit all these guys in one DTOF shelf for sure. So that's kind of nice having the smaller scale. But I'm rambling. I am excited that I have them. I'm just a little bummed out about some of the quality and the price for what they are. So weigh that before you decide to drop the ball. Maybe if you see them discounted, sometimes BBTS and Square Enix runs discounts. It's not always like on the holidays. It's just random. So you got to check their site and see what you think. But anyway, after all that said, this has been Square Enix Bring Arts Sephiroth, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.